Hey everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, you know how we do it over here. We do it every single time. And what's that? We do our shout outs first. So let's roll that beautiful bean footage. All right, y'all, I would like to give a quick shout out to all the readers who decided to come on through and support the channel. And I am so grateful for them. I am. They don't have to do it, but they do it. And I appreciate it so very much. So we're going to start with my girl 08065. Yes, the one, the only 08065. She is so kind. She's so sweet. And she is so faithful. And I am so grateful that she is a part of this tribe. I am. So thank you, 08065. Thank you for the super thanks. But most of all, thank you for being here. And my ride or die, Angela May came through. Yes, she did. She is always coming through. She is always 10 toes down for the read. She is one of the most faithful, kind, wonderful people that makes up this wonderful community we have here. Yes, Angela is a huge part of it. And I am so grateful and so thankful that she is here. And my girl Yulette came through. Yes, Yulette is everything. I'm telling you, I don't even know what to say about Yulette anymore. She is just so faithful and she's so kind. She's so sweet. She's so smart. She is always in the comments dropping that knowledge and being supportive. And I appreciate her so very much. So thank you, Yulette. Thank you for coming through and thank you for being a part of our tribe. And Lorna McKenzie came through. Yes, she did. Lorna is a ride or die. She is always coming through, always supporting, always being that girl she is. And I appreciate her so very much. So thank you, Lorna. Thank you for coming through. But most of all, thank you for being a part of this tribe. You make it better. You do. You do. And the one and only, the one of one, my girl, Tiger Mommy came through. Yes, Tiger Mommy is everything, and she knows she's everything. She is so kind, so sweet, so faithful. She is so funny. I mean, like I said, I can go on forever. She is that girl. She is everything. So thank you, Tiger Mommy. Thank you for coming through. But most of all, thank you for being a part of this tribe. You make it so much better. You do. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is, and y'all know what I do when I am putting the read together. I hit these internet streets, and let me tell you, we have a lot to talk about. We really do. We have some more numbers coming in from MasterChef. Yes, good news for our Duchess. She is absolutely continuing to knock it out of the park. Also, she was out and about last night. She was. Y'all know it's coming up close to the time that Cookie Queens premieres. And she was out talking about the movie. She was, and we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about Kitty and Willie, what they've been up to. I mean, sniping from behind the bushes. These people, they are so jealous and so envious. They cannot help themselves. They hate and then they copy. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about Clive Alderton, yes, and we're going to go back and look at what Harry said about him in Spare. One of the squatties posted an excerpt from Spare, and I'm telling you, I found it fascinating, and I know you will too. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about Tom Thumbhead Sykes. He continues to be so unhinged. I don't know what has gotten into him. Is he feeling like he is going to lose his job over there at the Daily Beast? I know a lot of print publications are not doing well right now. So is he feeling the heat over there? Because he is absolutely jumping around like a Mexican jumping bean. I mean, totally unhinged and spewing some of the most vicious nonsense from that Substack of his and that Daily Beast so-called podcast they have over there. He had that batshit crazy Mark Dolan back on there. And I'm telling you, he said something so out of pocket to the point where Prince Harry and Meghan's spokesperson had to come out and push back on it. Yes, and we're going to talk about it because I'm telling you, that man should never be on television or in any way allowed to say anything about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. It should be a restraining order filed on him right now because he is so desperate. This is the only gig that he has. They say he is a comedian. The only funny thing about him is how he looks and how he wears his hair. So he is not making money as a comedian. His only money comes from trashing Harry and Meghan. And at this point, he shouldn't be allowed to make money that way either. Because, like I said, a restraining order needs to be filed. And we're going to talk about that. And of course, we have other things, sprinkled in there as usual. But what y'all need to do, y'all need to go ahead on and lock in and understand. I'm not going to keep you long, but I will keep you entertained. So we're going to start with this. And we're going to start with our girl, Zanny Sussex. Yes, she posted about Meghan being out and about last night. And she said Meghan attended a special screening of Cookie Queens at the AMC, the Grove 14 in Los Angeles. Yes, Cookie Queens is coming August 7th, y'all. That is just around the corner. I am getting hyped. I am. And it's just so good to see Meghan just back at work doing what she does best, and that is winning. And I know Cookie Queens is going to be a smash. It is, because the Meghan effect will be in effect. I know it. I just feel it. It is going to be huge, y'all. And I cannot wait until it gets nominated for an Academy Award and Meghan is on stage accepting the Oscar. I can see it now. I am visualizing it, y'all. I am putting it out there in the universe, and I am expecting the vision to become reality. And when it happens, all the wailing, the gnashing of teeth, the holding of stomachs, yes, the sucking of snot, the snatching of curtains, 200-year-old curtains, and rolling around on 400-year-old rugs. It is going to be delicious. Now, I feel sorry for all the butlers that are going to get choked out. And I feel bad for Kitty because she might show up with another scar upside her head. But I digress on that point. It is going to be so delicious. And this squatty posted about it and said Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, executive producer, attended the first LA screening of Cookie Queens last night. She shared advice Prince Harry gave her about a perspective he gained as an Apache pilot. He said, "My love, above the storm, the sun is always shining." Yes, I love that. I love that. And all of the trolls had to jump on that, talking about he was not a pilot, he was a co pilot. I told one, I had to comment. I said, "You are a moron. A co pilot is a pilot." That's why they call it a co pilot. And both pilots are equally trained. I mean, you just don't be called a co pilot without being a pilot. I'm telling you, these Rangers are so dumb. They just twist themselves in knots trying to somehow diminish the accomplishments of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I mean, it is hilarious on these internet streets. They are losing their shit. I tell you, my timeline has turned into a shit show. It has, because they have filled it up with bots. And when I say they, I am talking about Willie and Kitty. They're going through some things over there at Kensington Palace. Ever since Meghan posted her little reel of what they did this summer, they have been losing their shit over there. And how I know this to be true is my timeline. Now, I went to bed on Tuesday night and woke up on Wednesday morning, and my timeline is a nightmare filled up with negative posts from people I have no idea who they are. They're coming down my timeline, nitpicking anything and everything that has to do with that summer reel that Meghan posted. And MasterChef Australia, it is so clear that Willie and Kitty are jealous, envy, and scared of Prince Harry and Meghan, because they have called in the bots. They have called in for help. They have, because they worked the whole time Harry was in the United Kingdom and nobody cared. Nobody paid them any attention. But the minute that Meghan posted, the world sit up and paid attention. And they are so jealous about that. And this is why they have enlisted all these bots. And it's the reason why my timeline is looking like it is. And this is what Kensington Palace does. They play dirty. CK said Meghan made a surprise appearance at the first LA screening of their documentary Cookie Queens last night. The Rangers are about to go through some things again. As Meghan mentioned, my husband and my love in this conversation, talking about the advice her husband, Prince Harry, once gave. Yes, we all know how they absolutely just loses their wigs and minds when Meghan talks about her own husband. And I love it. I love hearing Meghan talk about her husband. And let me tell you, it is so many posts, so many negative posts. The Derangers have lost their minds. They have. Just hearing Meghan talk about her husband, talk about her life and this upcoming movie, they want it to fail so bad. They are so tired of Meghan and Harry winning that they cannot handle anymore. I don't know what is going to happen if Cookie Queens really be the success that I'm hoping for. It is going to send a lot of people over the deep end. I'm thinking I am going to buy some stock in psychotropics because it is going to go up. Yes, because if Cookie Queens get an Academy nod, oh yeah, that stock is going through the roof. So just a little stock tip. If we start hearing Oscar buzz around Cookie Queens, oh yeah, we need to buy stock in psychotropics and make some money off of these fools. And this squatty said one thing they could never do is to wipe her beautiful smile from her beautiful face. She never lost that smile of hers, and everyone knows the haters hate that. Keep smiling, keep shining, Queen. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Yes, Sussex. What this squatty is saying is so true. It is so true. They want to see her broken. They want to see her crying and in a emotional heat. Yes, they want that so bad. They want her to be humble. That is what all these attacks are about. They know that she is a strong woman, and it really does something to very weak people to see strength in a person and see that no matter what you do, no matter how many times you knock them down or try to bury them, they always rise. And Meghan let them know a long time ago she will not be humble. No matter what you do, she will rebound from it. Meghan said that she was a seed. They tried everything to bury her, but they forgot one thing. She is a seed. I love it. And this squatty posted this from Women's Wear Daily, and it's about what Meghan wore on MasterChef. It says Meghan Markle wears Camilla and Mark and Matthew for MasterChef Australia's appearance. It says rating soars after Markle appears as a guest judge on the show in an episode that was recorded in Sydney in April. It says the Meghan effect landed down under for the second time this year after the Duchess of Sussex made an appearance on Channel 10's MasterChef. Ratings for the episodes soared to about 1.2 million, the show's biggest overnight Sunday audience in 3 years, and its biggest ever overnight streaming audience of 118,000, according to the Australian media reports citing OzTam data. It broke the record in streams. Yes, Meghan is absolutely a boss. And the squatty that posted this said, in other not so shocking news, Meghan on MasterChef Australia crushed the overnight streaming numbers as well. Don't tell you know who. Yes, somebody told them because they got the bots out. This squatty posted all of Meghan's great reviews for her appearance on MasterChef and said this: poor the Rangers, Meghan Sussex is getting rave reviews for her MasterChef Australia guest judge episode. The psychotic UK media and the Rangers' sabotaging attempts fail once more. A sad time for the indecent. Where is the lie? But they keep on coming. Like I said, the bots are out. My timeline has been hijacked. Yeah, and you can smell the desperation in the air. And I think the desperation coming from Kensington Palace is because all of the so-called news entities and all of the flying monkeys had to admit that Meghan's appearance on MasterChef Australia was a success. And they also had to admit that the Meghan effect is real and that Meghan absolutely did the doggone thing. All of the rags, all of the so-called news entities just had to report what the truth was. And that is Meghan knocked it out of the park. And when you get a headline like this from the likes of Hating R's GB News, and you're Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, you know Meghan hit it out of the park. Look what it says. It says Meghan Markle MasterChef episode made history as viewing figures released. Yes, they even had to admit that the Meghan effect is real. It says Meghan Markle's guest appearance on MasterChef Australia last Sunday pulled in 1.6 million viewers across the country, making it the program's strongest Sunday episode in 3 years. And the squatty that posted this said, I know the average Meghan hater only trusts GB News. So here you go. She made history. Yes, she did. And the notorious JTV said, another boycott, another outraged campaign, another L for the broke and busted Derangers. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, appeared on MasterChef Australia. The ratings soared. The people who insisted that she was finished are once again arguing with the scoreboard. Yes, because Meghan always put the points up on the board. He said reality keeps refusing to cooperate with their narrative. Where's the lie? Yes, perfectly, perfectly, perfectly said. And we're going to switch gears because Meghan posted another video over on her As Ever page, and it's a reason why she posted. Hello Canada, they posted about it and said Meghan went berry picking in her gorgeous garden. The Duchess of Sussex continues to revel in summer days spent outside, carrying seasonal fruit and enjoying the sunshine. Yes, go over to As Ever and watch the video and give Meghan some love, please, because it's a reason. It's a reason why she posted this video. You want to know what the reason is? Is this right here? Yes, Blackberry has entered the chat. Yes, Meghan has added Blackberry to the collection. Meghan has made Blackberry spread. And let me tell you, I am excited about this. Why? Because it's dropping tomorrow. Yes, I will be over there at As Ever early. I think it's around 11 o'clock my time. I will be in there snagging me one or two jars. And if you're like me and love Blackberry, I'm telling you, I will meet you over there because that's where I'm going to be. Throwing some sharp elbows if necessary because I will get a jar or two of the Blackberry because I love Blackberry. And this squatty, Chris Byron Smith, said Meghan's As Ever new Blackberry spread arrives tomorrow. Yum. Meet the newest pantry favorite made with beautifully ripe blackberries for a rich, vibrant flavor that brings a little taste of the season to your table. I cannot wait. I love strawberry and I love blackberry. Now, I'm not a biggie on the raspberry, but I like it. Not like the strawberry and the blackberry. I am excited about this one, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments because, yes, it drops tomorrow on the As Ever website, y'all. And I will be coming back and reporting if I scored or not. I will let y'all know. And I'm going to switch gears again because I want to talk about Maureen Callahan. And y'all know in my last podcast, I talked about how they were just absolutely making a huge deal about nothing and pretty much lying, saying that Meghan posted a picture of Diana's grave when Prince Harry and Meghan and the children were at Althorp to pay their respects. Y'all remember that? And of course, she did not, but I did not know where this whole thing began. Well, it looks like it began with that old wretched toe up from the flow up, Maureen Callahan. Yes, the skank that works over there to the Daily Fail. One of the members of the cauldron of witches over there, who is in competition with each other to see who is the skankiest one of all. And this old horror show reject had the nerve to lie. And after she lied on Megan, had the nerve to call Megan vile for something Megan did not do and for something she made up out of whole cloth. Now, this is the scalawags. This is the bottom feeders. This is the broke down old bitches that we have to deal with here on these internet streets. And a lot of people wonder why I call these people names. I call them names because they deserve every bit of it. I would never, ever call a nice person a name. But these people, you have to meet them where they're at. I said this when I started this channel, that we were too nice. When I first started this channel, most squatties were really, really nice. But me, I came from the school of Tina and Michelle. And if you know the originators, Tina and Michelle, they never held back on these fools. They did. They went all the way in all the time. They were sitting on 100 all the time when it came to the derangers. So if you hear me talking reckless about these fools, just know I learned at the feet of the masters, Tina and Michelle. They taught me when you are wrestling with a pig, you always have to be willing to get dirty. And when you are dealing with liars, lowlifes, bottom feeders, and grifters who have no problem with operating on the low road, you have to be willing to get on the low road and deal with them while bringing the same energy. And so I'm warning y'all ahead of time, it is going to be a lot of name calling because this old heifer, this lying piece of human waste, she deserves all the disrespect. And I am here to give her everything that she deserves. Now, this squatty posted what she put in her article. And it's these pictures right here. She was trying to convey a very specific message. And that message is Megan posted a picture, this picture of Diana's grave that she conveniently found on the internet. And that same picture was used in an article praising Willie and Kitty when they went to Diana's grave back in 2011. And of course, we know that this is not a picture that Megan posted. But we all know the truth is not something that you associate with Maureen Callahan and the Daily Fail. But I digress. Like I said, it is an agenda that they're pushing. They want their weak-minded readers. Yes, the one whose IQ is below 70 and they have about 2 or 3 brain cells that are still working. They want them to believe that Megan did this. And they know that they're not going to read the story. We have talked about it so many times that they do all their dirt in the headlines. That's where they tell all their lies. And then when you go in the body of the story, they make their corrections. But yes, this old ran through hoe, she knows exactly what she's doing, posting a picture of Diana's grave and a picture of Harry and Meghan laughing, the picture that Meghan had posted from the summer. Now, the message she's trying to convey here is that Meghan would do something as diabolical as posting a picture of her mother-in-law's grave and then laughing about it. She did this because she thinks she can get away with it And those brain dead readers of the fail will fall for it because she knows they are willing to believe some nonsense like this. And the squatty that posted this said the photo shared by Maureen Callahan in the Daily Fail, where she makes people believe is from Megan, was shared back in 2011. Back when they were celebrating William and Kate for what they are now accusing Megan of doing, ghoulish exploitation. Yes, these are the kind of words that she used in this article to describe Megan, accusing Megan of doing something she never did. This is why I will always and forever have nothing but smoke for this bitch. She is a lying, vile piece of scum with no morals, no values, no ethics. She will do anything for a dollar bill. Because if you would do something like this, you would do anything. I don't put nothing past you. And that from this point on will be the way I will treat Maureen the Skank Callahan. And she knows who she is. Look at this picture. This is the picture that she loves to present to the world. But we all know that this is really not who she is. This is a made up version of a woman she wished she was. Because the real Maureen Callahan looks like this, and this, and this. She's a liar. She even lies about how she looks.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
And this is what she had the audacity to post about that lying piece of trash of an article that she wrote lying about Megan. She said Diana was buried on a private island at her private ancestral home precisely to avoid this kind of ghoulish exploitation Meghan Markle seemed to have engaged in here. Nothing and no one is sacred to this desperate and vile woman. This is what this desperate and vile woman had to say about Meghan, projecting onto Meghan exactly who she is. But my favorite squatty, she absolutely read her like a book, and that would be Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn said this: people who hate Meghan and Harry aren't mad that they've exploited Diana's memory. They all had to do extensive research to prove that Meg's picture was even taken at Althorp. Where is the lie? Meghan didn't even say it was taken at Althorp. Meghan just posted the pictures with no explanation. But here that woman is talking about Meghan exploiting Diana. And Anne Boleyn went on to say, no, they're mad that Meghan is still married to Harry, that they've got Diana's grandchildren and they still have access. Where's the lie? Now, broke down, ran through old bitches like Maureen Callahan is mad because they didn't get the fairy tale. Because it is hundreds of thousands of women just like her mad because Meghan got the prince and Meghan has Diana's grandchildren. See, it is so many women out there hating on Meghan because they got sold the fairy tale. And what I mean by that, Disney told them in all these different Disney movies that they were the ones who was going to marry the prince. At least someone who looks like them. And then when the black lady came along and the prince fell in love with her and she got the fairy tale, well, that just threw them off and threw them into nothing but a psychosis. That's the only way you can explain why these crazy ass women are running around here hating on Meghan for no reason. Meghan has not done anything to anybody except marry Harry and continue to have a good marriage. They still do not want Meghan to have Harry. It's Harry. It is those babies. They feel that that belongs to somebody who looks like them. They are racist, they are jealous, and they are envious of Meghan. Meghan could absolutely walk on the water and heal the sick, and they still would find fault in her.
Oh, damn.
Because it's not about what she does, it is about who she is and how she makes them feel. Meghan is beautiful. Meghan is smart. Meghan is capable. Meghan is a winner. And because of her excellence, because of her shine, it only makes them hate her more. And they only spiral more into their psychosis. If you don't believe me, go on X, go on Threads, go on one of the social media platforms, and you will meet women who absolutely are out of their minds. Meghan has driven them crazy. I mean, over the hill and around the bend crazy. I mean, all because of her existence and who she is. Meghan has it all. She does everything that she does with style, and she has a solid following who defends her and will not allow them to abuse her and spew their bile on her in peace. And that is the reason why these women, mostly women, a few men, are so crazy, so out of their mind that a new mental health diagnosis needs to be added to the DSM 4 because these people are absolutely certifiably insane. Meghan has absolutely driven them insane. And I say that with the full knowledge of being here on these internet streets and witnessing the insanity. And look what popped up in OK Magazine. Now, do you think Charles is getting in on this? The manufactured faux outrage that was started by Maureen the Skank Callahan. Because it looks a little sus, doesn't it? It says King Charles genuinely shocked over Meghan Markle's unsettling photo of Princess Diana's grave, source claim. Yes, we believe that that source is probably coming straight out of Buckingham Palace. And it is so funny to me that they will actually plant something like this in the press because everyone knows that Charles didn't give a flying fig about Diana when she was alive. And we're supposed to believe now he cares about what is being done to her in death. Not a good look, Charles. Not a good look, Buckingham Palace. Did Clive Alderton, did he drop this little gem in the lap of OK Magazine? Because this looks like some of his handiwork. Because if it is, it looks like he's trying to sabotage Charles as he goes out the door. A squatty came up under this post from OK Magazine and said, F off with your lies. There is no photos of the grave. If the rumor about Princess Diana's demise is true, Charles has no room to talk. I love squatties. It says the world is still living the nightmare of Charles begging to be a tampon in his concubine mistress. Yes, Charles needs to sit this one out because nothing he say will make him look any better, only worse. And look what Charles posted. A picture of his mother's grave. But yet and still, We're supposed to believe he cares about a picture of Diana's grave being posted, which we know Megan did not post. But if she did, where is the room for him to talk? Yes, it says a ledger stone has been installed at the King George VI Memorial Chapel following the interment of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. The King George VI Memorial Chapel sits within the walls of St. George's Chapel, Windsor. Yes, he posted a picture of his dead mother's grave, but they want us to believe that he cares about Diana. Stop it. Charles needs to take several seats. This squatty posted that same post from the royal family account and said this: the Rangers lying that Megan Sussex shared a photo of Diana's grave and claiming it's in bad taste and taboo to share photos of a grave. Take it up with the royal family. You're freaking pathetic. Exactly. Exactly. And of course, you knew this was going to happen. We knew that we were going to get a story coming out of Kensington Palace, which is no surprise. We all knew it was coming, that Willie was going to be incandescent with rage about Megan posting a picture of her children and her husband walking up a path with flowers in their hands. Not Diana's grave, a path. Yes, a path. That is what was posted. And we all know the truth doesn't matter with Willie or Kitty because they're so filled with jealousy, envy, and hate that they don't care about the truth. They are the ones who are creating the lies. And I believe this lie came straight from Kensington Palace. I believe this is a coordinated effort to try to smear Megan, a joint effort of the Fail and Kensington Palace. So it's not surprising that we're going to get one of these Willie is incandescent with rage stories planted in the media. Yes, because they want to continue to push this narrative that Megan has done something wrong to Willie. Yes, always playing the victim, him and Kitty. But this is the title of the article. The title of the article is Prince William likely now, livid over Meghan Markle's tasteless photo at Princess Diana's home. Expert. Raw expert says the Instagram post from the Sussex's UK visit will fuel his disgust and dwarf re-entry. Yes, they really think that Harry and Meghan wants to come back. Yeah, talking about it dwarfs their re-entry. These people need to be on medication. They are crazy people. Talking about Meghan shared photos of her children, Princess Lilibet and Prince Archie, frolicking around the late Princess Diana's childhood home. Yes, like they had no right to be there. Harry and Meghan's summer pictures are like a dagger to the hearts of those vampires and to Willie as well, because I really think he did everything in his power to stop it. When he found out that Harry and Meghan and those children were going to that grave, he did everything he could. He pulled out all the stops. And Harry, in his infamous wisdom, would not allow any of them to stop him. And that is the reason why they're so mad, because every time they try to outdo Harry and Meghan, they get outdone. Somebody that posted this said, seething with rage, enraged, red hot anger, furious, reacted very strongly, now livid, etc. At Royal Family, at Kensington Royal, why don't you focus on getting your boy under control instead of trying to keep up with the spare? Exactly. Because he is absolutely out of control. And You need to explain that scar upside his wife's head. I'm just saying. And this post just puts everything in perspective. It really does. This squatty said, once again, the media and the derangers show the world how utterly unhinged they are. Apparently, William is furious again because Megan shared this photo. Apparently, it has been labeled vulgar and exploitive. A picture showing two little ones and their papa walking down a beautiful path. Where is the vulgarity? Where is the exploitation? There is no mention of Harry's beloved mother. There isn't even a mention of where Harry and the kids are headed. An assumption has been made based on the media's exploiting the scene, no one else. Harry's uncle shares pictures of his estate regularly. If that is where Harry and the children are, then how is this picture any different to what he has shared? Why is it anyone's business or right to chime in on this situation at all? I swear these pathetic people need to grow up and worry about their own sad lives. If this picture is causing them so much grief, Lily with her little handbag is precious. Exactly. And that right there is the problem. Megan never misses. Each one of these pictures told a story, and it was a story that they did not want to hear. It was a story of a happy family. It's a story of a man teaching his children about the mother he loves and her legacy, showing a happy family. This is something that they don't want to see. That is the reason why they're so mad. That is the reason why these pictures give them so much grief. And all I can say is, Megan, keep up the good work. Keep your foot on their necks. And just like clockwork, Coppington Palace flew into action after they saw those beautiful pictures and Harry and Meghan and the children's beautiful summer posted on Meghan's Instagram. Of course, we were on countdown as squatties waiting. I mean, it was people debating how many days it was going to be before Coppington Palace came out with their version, their Temu version of Megan's post. Well, we didn't have to wait for 5 days. Look at this. This was in People. Kate Middleton and Prince William proves that they're having a special summer to remember with new Instagram posts. It's a new Instagram post filled with old pictures. None of them are new pictures. None of them are from their vacation or anything. It is all about what they did during the time Harry was in the UK. I mean, garden parties and different engagements that they went on. And to top this monstrosity of a failed attempt at copying Harry and Meghan is the picture that they use. This picture is from back in 2024, 2025. This is not a new picture. I mean, how more pathetic can you be? Trying to pass off a old picture for a new one and just saying it was a new Instagram post. The Instagram post was the only thing new about what was being given to them because this is nothing but bullshit. I mean, these people, they can't even copy worth a tinker's damn. I mean, a whole bunch of old stuff repackaged and pretending like it's new. And then they wonder why we call them mediocre. This squatty said, we all knew it was only a matter of time before Wadey and Peggy came out with their summer holiday copycat version of boring pictures. Megan, I love you. You are their energy drink, their television, their motivation, etc. Oh my God. Exactly. this squatty said, summer throwback for Bill and Kev. I've heard it all now. They moved when Harry and Meghan moved. By the end of 2026, they will be exhausted. And this is a repost. Zanny Sussex reposted this, and boy, is it profound. It says, what a pity. The whales are so insecure, irrelevant, and blinded by jealousy to the extent of needing to copy the Sussexes. Whoever is handling their PR must really loathe them because shamelessly copying the Sussexes is a tale in itself. Just as Kate colonizing Duchess Sussex's style. Exactly. It says that they are subpar. It says that they are followers, not leaders. It says that they're not up for the job. It says they're lost without the Sussexes. It says so much. But most of all, it says that they are mediocre. And Zanny said, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's a big tale. And this squatty is so messy, and I love it. And I love it so much. This is what they posted. They posted first, they criticize, then they imitate. Workshop and Weighty tried today doing a carousel of their own, and it's only being reported by the Indian blogs USA Today and GB News. Even worse, they are using Meghan's name to sell it because their own names attracts nobody. Where's the lie? Nobody is interested in future king and queen dumb as a rock. And this squatty posted some of the articles and they use Meghan's name every time to try to prop up Kitty and Willie. How embarrassing. How pathetic. I mean, how do you feel knowing that you cannot carry a headline on your own and you are the future king and queen dumb as a rock? Look at the headlines. Prince William and Princess Kate follow Meghan Markle's footsteps with heartwarming summer recap. Prince William and Princess Kate gives nod to Meghan with summer update. Kate Middleton follows in Meghan Markle's footsteps, delights royal fans. And the last one says, Prince and Princess of Wales, future king and queen dumb as a rock, pay tribute to a special summer days after Meghan offered glimpse into family holiday. Yes, I mean, could not carry water for Harry and Meghan. And while future king and queen dumb as a rock are worrying about Harry and Meghan, two private citizens, they need to be worried about the institution because it's failing. Look at this. The title of the article is The Royal Collection Trust Net Income Drops by Almost 75% in 1 year as visitors and sales plummet. People are not interested in that nonsense anymore. Propping that family up just because they slipped out of a certain birth canal. That they should be given all of this money, all these jewels, all of this deference. For what? And when you really see them for what they are just a bunch of mediocre characters. That's it. I mean, characters that are in a pantomime. They're not even a real family. But this article goes on and says the Royal Collection Trust is a charity responsible for ensuring that the Royal Collection and the palaces are looked after along with visitors. Accounts show that the net income has plummeted in 2025 through 2026 from £13.9 million to just £3.5 million, a decline exceeding 10 million in a single year. What y'all think about that? I mean, people are absolutely done with this family. This family is in trouble. This would have been unheard of during Elizabeth's reign. It says overall revenue for the charity, which safeguards centuries of royal art and manages public access to the king's official residence, dropped by 4.6 million pounds to 85.3 million. It says the 10 million plus fall is net income was partly explained by a one-off factor from last year, a 3 million pound insurance payout received following the recovery of the snuff box that had been stolen while on loan overseas. It says the organization attributes the downturn to the waning effect of the coronation, which had driven a remarkable surge in public interest and spending in previous years. And it also goes on to say that this could be caused by an economic downturn. But this family continues to take and take and take. And I really believe this is a sign. People are sick of the taking of people are sick of this family. And this squatty posted that article and said the Royal Collection Trust 10 million pound drop in revenue and loss of visitors in 1 year is serious. People are no longer buying into the fairy tale. The fact that not one Royal Rota media outlet reported this means that they don't want the royalists to see it. Exactly. But you can feel it. And the barrier pole. Have you noticed we don't get any barrier poles anymore? Why? Because they know the barrier poles absolutely tells the tale that they are not popular. People are not coming out for them anymore. Why would they? I mean, they are getting the short end of the stick. The trooping of the colors was telling. I mean, the turnout was dismal. The crowds are starting to get smaller and smaller each year. And so I agree with this squatty. People are not buying into the fairy tale anymore. The British people are tired of emptying their pockets to support this mediocre family, and all they get for their effort is to stand behind barriers, wave a flag, and watch these subpar individuals ride by in a golden carriage. What a grift. And I want to talk about this article from Tom Thumbhead Sykes that he wrote on his Substack. And he's talking about the resignation of Clive Alderton. And the title of the article is The Wasp is Leaving the Palace, Advantage Harry. Clive Alderton exit is a huge win for the bring back of Harry party, captained by the king. Readers of the Royalists will be less surprised. And Zanny Sussex posted this article and said, spare a thought for William Macbeth after prematurely crowning himself King William V and declaring himself the de facto king. It seems pot is undying after all. Instead, Charles is reasserting his authority and reclaiming the throne. I don't believe Charles was dying in the first place. Now, it was all about them eggs flying over his head. But I digress on that point. It says, it's clear King Charles has realized he backed the wrong horse and at very least didn't want to go down in history as the most cruel father and grandfather the monarchy has ever produced. Of course, it's all smoke and mirrors because Charles is simply incapable of thinking of anyone but himself. Harry and Meghan would be wise to keep watching their backs. Where is the lie? Keep your head on the swivel, Harry and Meghan, because I wouldn't trust Charles as far as I could pick him up and throw him. This squatty said one of the best things Prince Harry ever did was write Spare. It was Harry freeing himself from the press. Now look at him. He does and says whatever the F he wants, knowing that media can't do SHIT about it. Blackmail only works if you have skeletons to hide. And the reason I read that is because this next squatty that I'm going to read posted an excerpt from Spare. And I agree with the squatty I just read that Harry writing Spare was one of the best things he ever did. For all the reasons she gave, but also it is great for a reference when things like Clive getting sacked, the Wasp. We can go back and look at what Harry said about him. And that's exactly what the next squatty did, and I am going to read some of it. It starts out by saying, the Wasp was linky, charming, arrogant, a ball of jazzy energy. He was great at pretending to be polite, even civil. You assert a fact, sometimes seemingly inadvertently. I believe the sun rises in the morning, and he would stammer that perchance you might consider for a moment the possibility that you've been misinformed. I don't know about that, Your Royal Highness. You see, it depends on what you mean by morning, sir. When you asserted that something was fact, he would argue with facts. He wanted to make things the way he wanted them to be. I think that's what Harry is saying. And he would do it in a civil manner. He would do it in a very, very polite manner. But he was neither civil or polite. It says, because he seems so weedy and so self-effacing, you might be tempted to push back, insist on your point, and that was when he would put you on his list. A short time later, without warning, he'll give you such a jab with his oversized stinger that you'd cry out in confusion. Where in the F did that come from? Harry is pretty much saying that these people run their principles. The principles do not run them. And if you say something out of line that they don't like, they get you back. And that's the reason why they didn't like Harry. Harry said, above all, they knew how I saw them as usurpers. Deep down, I feared that each man felt himself to be the one true monarch, that each was taking advantage of a queen in her 90s, enjoying his influential position while merely appearing to serve. This is why they kept the queen away from Harry and Meghan. This is why he didn't want Harry anywhere near the king, because Harry knows exactly who he is, and that he is not serving the king, he is serving himself. He's very self-serving. And Harry came on out and said that they were taking advantage of the queen. Yes, and we knew that. We knew it. We could see it. And this, like I said, this is why I love Spare, to go back as a reference. Harry also said that the men in gray suits really feel that they are the monarch, and basically they run the principal. And how they maintain their power is to have the ear of their principal. And because of that, you are very powerful. You have control over the monarch, which in turn you have control over the institution. Now, that is the reason why Clive is slithering out of there like the snake that he is, because he no longer has the ear of Charles. He doesn't have control of Charles anymore. Charles is listening to someone else, and his power has been diminished. And without the power, he is useless. Without the power, his sting is not lethal like it used to be. The squatty that posted this said Clive the Waltz Alderton may be stepping back, but the monarch and their heirs are still racist, petty, vindictive pieces of shit who wants to be given the interest that the California royals have earned. They'll just find new insects. I believe that. Yes, because they're rotten to the core. I agree with this squatty. They'll just find new men in gray suits to carry out their evil plans. And this article is the last article I'm going to talk about. And it is an article that Kaiser wrote over there on Celebrity. And she is talking about Tom Thumbhead Sykes' podcast. I think it's called the Daily Beast Podcast. And he had that batshit crazy Mark Dolan on there. I don't know if he's crazy or he's just desperate because he doesn't have any source of income except talking trash about Harry and Meghan, going from one platform to the other, talking about Harry and Meghan. This is the same Mark Dolan who used to sit on his weekend show talking all manner of nonsense and libelous stuff about Harry and Meghan to the point where even GB News could not take the risk of having him on air anymore, and they fired him. And after he got fired, he lost his shit. It was as if it was the only job on earth. Why is it that these men over there across the pond, when they get sacked, they act like a bunch of whiny bitches? I saw Piss Moron. He was on a podcast and he was still whining about losing his job at Good Morning Britain. I mean, he went on and on and on, blaming Meghan for him getting absolutely towed out of the frame by the weatherman and walking off the show. But somehow that was Meghan's fault. Okay. But yes, these very, very sensitive men who cannot take a punch. But I digress. Like I said, this is an article that Kaiser wrote over there at Celebrity. And the title of the article is Royalists. Prince Archie and Princess Lily will make their Wales cousins' lives a misery. You heard it right. They are now starting on Archie and Lily, saying that the failures of the Wells children will be blamed on Archie and Lily. If Archie and Lily are exceptional people, somehow that will reflect negatively on the Wells children. Yes, they have started that bullshit. But this is what Kaiser said. Kaiser said Tom Sykes had another unhinged guest on his Royalist podcast this week. That's what it's called, the Royalist podcast. Okay. It says the topics for the day, as ever, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They can't talk about anything else. I mean, it's almost like a Tourette tick at this point. But it says specifically the subject was about how Prince Harry and Meghan are clearly and obviously desperate to come back to the UK in your dreams. It says Sykes and his guests halfway let the cat out the bag about the actual concerns with that. It's not that Harry and Meghan would come back broke and in desperate need of royal favors. It's that the Sussexes already have a rival royal court in Montecito. That is so ridiculous, so medieval. What year is it again? Is it really 2026? And this rival court nonsense. Harry and Meghan do not have a rival court in Montecito. They have a home and a life. They are private citizens. These people act as if they don't understand reality. They are living in the 1200s. It says, and that Prince William and Kate would cry incandescent tears if the Sussex family came back and stole the whale's thunder. The whales doesn't have any thunder. They don't do anything except copy Harry and Meghan. It's nobody checking for them. So I don't know what thunder they're talking about, but okay. Of course, Sykes and his guests are always going to take it way too far, saying gross things about Archie and Lily will make their cousins' lives a misery. Those comments were so egregious and ridiculous, the Sussex rep made a statement. Yes. And them thinking that they have the license to talk about the king's grandchildren in that manner. Speaking of them as if they are some kind of threat to the Wells children, saying that Archie and Lily's mere existence is going to make the Wells children's lives a misery. Why would it? Could it be because they are thinking that the children is going to be equally as mediocre as their parents? And Harry and Meghan's children, Archie and Lily, is going to be equally as exceptional as their parents? Yeah, the statement is really telling, isn't it? And this is what Harry and Meghan's spokesperson said. A spokesperson for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex called Dolan's remarks deeply distasteful. There is a fundamental difference between criticizing public figures and choosing to demonize two young children who have done absolutely nothing to warrant it, the rep said. To speculate that Prince Archie and Princess Lilibeth will one day make life a misery for their cousins is an extraordinary and irresponsible thing to say about children. We are genuinely disgusted by these comments. Whatever views people may hold about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, children should never be dragged into adult disputes or portrayed as future antagonists for the sake of a provocative soundbite. There you go. Basically, Harry and Meghan are telling them they need to tread lightly. Yes, you absolutely done got over your skis, and we are going to put you back in your place. How dare them? How dare? But that Mark Dolan, he has been a problem for a while. This is the same man who said that Harry and Meghan, especially Meghan, was dangerous. Y'all remember that? He see danger in the Sussexes. For some reason, he feels this couple that he lives off of, that pays his rent, is somehow a danger, living 5,000 miles away, minding their business like no other. But I'll tell him this, he needs to watch his mouth, because if he doesn't watch his mouth, he's going to get checked. All right, y'all. Y'all know I love to end on a positive note, and I am going to end with this. It looks like the reviews are in for Holly Willoughby's YouTube lifestyle channel. And I'm telling you, they're not good. This is what it says. How bad is Holly Willoughby's new YouTube show? Don't know where to start. Holly Willoughby's dire YouTube show makes Meghan look good. Yes, they always have to put Meghan in it. The squatty that posted this says, is there anything that can be done in the UK without referencing the Sussexes? This is beyond sickness at this point. I mean, they went for Holly's neck, did they not? They gave her the old slammeroo. Now, the Flying Monkey saying that the show is bad makes me want to watch it, because anything they say is bad, it is good. Makes me want to watch it, but I won't watch it. I'll put it that way. But I'll say this. Once a flying monkey stops being a flying monkey, the other flying monkeys turn on them, and they have turned on Holly. Even if the show is good, they will never ever say that. They're always going to slam her. That is the nature of the beast. All right, y'all. Y'all know I love, love, love spending time with y'all. Sorry I went over just a tad, but it is so much good stuff going on. And if you want to support the channel, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy, so easy. Just look below, you'll find the super thanks button, click the three dots, and I am told the hype button is in there too with the super thanks button. And if you have any hypes left, please hype your girl up if you see the hype button. Also, if you want to be a channel member and a part of the reading club, the link is there as well. And of course, I got Buy Me a Coffee, I have Zelle, I have PayPal in my bio. And if you don't want to do any of those, you can scurry on over there to patreon.com/The Royal Read. I have a reading club over there as well. And why not just join? Because I'm always posting and you can keep up with what your girl is up to. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all a little later. Bye.